What's going on, Mosh Pit crew? Welcome to another episode of Geeking Out with the Metal Geek. I'm your host, the Metal Geek, and I just have one thing to say. Welcome to the Geek Pit. Now, just want to introduce the guest. He is the hot commodity. Let's give a warm Geeking Out welcome to our guest, Robert Franklin.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. How's it going, Robert, man? You know?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, how did you get your start in the wrestling business?
Uh, Early mid '90s, before there was internet and stuff like that, they had newsletters like local on Long Island, and a guy by the name of Bobby Rydell had one, and I used to go to all the shows, and I became friends with him, and he asked me if I wanted to be like a correspondent. So each month I donned the nickname the Scorpion, and each month I would write an article and go to local shows and write about the shows, the results, the crowd, and stuff like that. And at one of the shows, they had Mikey Whitworth, Paul Loria, Mike Norman, Kid Ego, and Kevin Bates on the show, and Gary Reno. And I wrote about the show. And the following month, I seen the six of them reading the newsletter. And I go, oh, I see you guys got the newsletter. They're like, yeah, this guy wrote this awesome article about us. I can't believe it. And it was me. And long story short, I became friends with them, and I started training under them.
So what was it like working with Mikey Whipwreck and Paul Loria? So
it was great. My main trainers were Paul and Norman, and Mikey would be around occasionally because he was traveling a lot with ECW. And then at one point we had the school, and they started up the HWA, and working with some of the greatest minds in the business at the time was fantastic for me, because each show the HWA would do, we would bring in a new ECW talent unannounced. And to be able to sit in our locker room and pick the mind of each person that came in month after month, let alone the local talent that we had, was great for me. And as a young guy in the business, I learned so much.
yeah. So yeah, that's amazing, dude. To learn from that learning tree right there, you know. So
if you run down the tree of Mikey Whipwreck, whether it's one way with Paul and the HWA, and then to NYWC, and then to the Amazing Red, and to the SAT. I mean, the spectrum of wrestlers that came from the Long Island base, the HWA, is insane.
yeah, just crazy, man. You know. So who are some? I know you worked with so many, but who would some of your dream opponents that you still? I mean, if you have one more match, who would somebody you would still love to train?
So forever, I worked a lot of old school guys when we had the company on Long Island called UCW, Ultimate Championship Wrestling, run by Falco and Paris. And we used to have guys come in all the time. Like we used Bret Hart and Tatanka and Marty Jannetty and King Kong Bundy. And my dream match was always Don Morocco. He's who I looked up to, was one of the first matches always. And I know that match can never happen. He doesn't leave Hawaii. But the one opponent that I did have that was Brutus Beefcake, where I actually had the opportunity to work with him and have my hair cut by him in the ring. And growing up on Long Island, we had him at a local video store where I worked. And to go from that point doing security to wrestling him in the ring, I went full circle.
Yeah. So you have so many roots now. Like you had Big Daddy, you have the hot commodity Robert Franklin. So where did all these roots come from?
Let me tell you, the Big Daddy character came from me having twin boys, and then frequently going to the nightclub and spending the whole night on the dance floor with just the whole night. So one time, a guy gave me the nickname Big Daddy, and it stayed. And forever, you can go into my regular job, which is Bellaroma Pizzeria, and you would have to ask for Big Daddy because most of the crew don't know who Robert Franklin is. Even though I've been there 28 years, as we bring in new crew, you introduce them to Big Daddy. And I grew that character over the years. Originally my first character was Francois Lynn, and I did, a heel French character. We did the Foreign Legion, and between me, Mega, and Guapo, we had the Foreign Legion so over in the company, we were hotter than the champion that they wound up splitting us up. That's how hot of a heel we were. And then, after Francois, we decided to do like a spin on like Big Daddy Haystacks. We did the Big Daddy with the horseshoe and the overalls. And for me, Big Daddy is more of a lifestyle than a character. They always say live your gimmick. And I literally lived my gimmick for a long time. And to this day, my nickname's still Big Daddy. However, now comes the hot commodity. And I call myself that because I was going to stop in the wrestling business. And then the phone started ringing, and then another company called, and another company called. And I said to myself, at 52, I'm the hottest commodity on Long Island right now. And the reason for that is for years, they let my mind stay dormant. They wouldn't pick my ideas. And SAP and Paul Loria, they are giving me opportunity to free my mind, to install ideas. And everybody on Long Island knows you need seats in your building. Yeah, you come see the hot commodity.
Yeah. So you've been part of such a big lineage like NYWC, HWA, and now Win. So it's like
it's amazing. I've worked and have worked for and am now working for three of the biggest companies that Long Island has ever seen. There's been other companies, and they're great. Believe me, there's a niche for every company around. There's fans to go around for every company. I would never, ever, ever talk down a company because they're working. They're giving the boys work. I know you're very good friends with the guys from VPW, and I think they run a fantastic show. I think they do great. Just not my cup of tea. And so I am now with Win, and like you said, the lineage of companies that I've been able to work for up and down the East Coast has been amazing.
Exactly. Like, those companies right there, top stars right there out of every single one of them right there.
It's crazy. The guys I've gotten to work with, Myers and Matthews, who is Cardona, and John Silver and Alex Reynolds. And in the HWA, we brought in all the ECW guys and Amazing Red and Brian XL and Xavier, God rest his soul. And just you name somebody on the East Coast of wrestling, and I've either been in the locker room with them or I've worked with them. And I'm truly blessed because of that. And now my goal, I'm sorry to cut you off, as the hot commodity is to give that opportunity to all the younger guys. And I hope I can give that to them.
Tanzalian Tony's in the chat right now. So he says over 30 years, this guy has been killing it. So
Tony's one of the greatest in the business. He's been my friend and brother for a long time. One of the first people I met when I was doing the HWA was Tony. And he obviously has the Tantalizing Tony podcast, and he's great. And unfortunately, and good for you, is he's dragging his tail, and you got the hot commodity before anybody else.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's amazing. I'm so blessed right now to have the hot commodity right here on my podcast, man.
It's all your pleasure. The fans of Win don't know me yet, but they're gonna find out exactly who the hot commodity is. Slowly but surely, I'm gonna build a stable of guys, and we're gonna run roughshod. And I don't care who it is. It could be the SAT. It could be the back seats. I'm gonna take the Gordons to the top.
Polls in the chat says hot commodity tenderloin Tony Heat right here. Yeah.
There's no heat. Tony's too old to get any of the rub.
So you recently came back at Psycho Circus and you got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Why choose to come back now?
The Hall of Fame was great. It's one of the biggest honors of my career. And then to main event the Psycho Circus, the NYWC, at 51 years old was insane. But my mind for wrestling has laid dormant for so many years. There's so many ideas and things I wanted to do, and I was always held back. For every company I've ever worked for, I've been held back. But now Win is going to let me speak my mind. They've opened up the door for me to let my ideas flow.
Yeah, at 51, man, you don't even look it. It's like
Thanks.
You look like you're 20 years old in the ring, man. When I saw you wrestle, you teaming with Dickie Rods, I think that was 2021, I believe, right?
Yeah.
When you made return, right? Was that
Yeah.
against the slimeballs?
Yes. So what had happened was I had, who are very talented in their own right, the slimeballs. The sky's the limit for them. And I'll get to that match for Win in a minute. But let me say this: I had the stomach surgery and I lost 100 pounds, and I turned my 50, and I felt something was still missing. And I went to NYWC, and Shane said, "We have something for you." I said, "Good." And originally I was gonna do a 1-month gig. And that 1 month, I brought 104 fans myself. Wow. By the way, I'm going to plug this. I am the greatest ticket seller Long Island has ever seen. Hands down. No one could touch me. And that's one of the things I'll brag about forever. I never had to sell tickets to be on the show. I had to sell tickets for my friends and family to come see me. And it's great. Anyway, Shane saw that I had so much fun, and he offered me the main event in a 5-month program for the circus, and it was a no-brainer. And for the circus, I brought 140 people. 140 people saw what very well could be my last match. I'm coming to Win as a manager. You never say never in the wrestling business, but I'm coming as a manager. Yeah, I want to lead the younger guys to greatness.
I've noticed that. I mean, you're not wrestling at Win. You're going to be in the corner of someone. So you're not wrestling though at Win.
No, so. two shoulder surgeries. One since the circus, and an issue I'm dealing with now kind of is going to limit me from the ring. However, don't think I won't get my hands dirty if one of these guys get in my way. That's yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask. Do you want to talk about that triple threat? I mean, we got that triple.
Yeah. Thursday night, May 18th, on Long Island, in my backyard, Patchogue Stereo Garden. Not only have I danced in that club, now I'm gonna dance on these guys' heads in that club. I've offered my services to Serrano and Santos, and they still haven't reached out to me, but I'm going to be there, and I'm going to offer my services again to Santos and Serrano. And if they know what's good for them, they'll take my offer, just like the Gordons did. They're set to face the Slimeballs, who I said are fantastic in the ring, young. They remind me a lot of the Cronus and Saturn and Cronus. They have that kind of talent, and I can't wait to see how far they go in the business. And Seth and Micah have the look that everybody wants, and they have so much talent. They're great workers. They can high fly. They can beat the brakes off of you. Um, I happen to know them kids since they're very little. Um, they're a little cocky right now, and friendship aside, they get in my way. Me and the Gordons, we're gonna run through them too.
Yeah. So with wrestling is now being in the beginning stages right now. What does it mean to be in the beginning of wrestling is now working for the beginning?
It's great. We had our first show in Jersey last month, and we sold out the building. And I don't expect anything less on Long Island. The amount of talent that the roster has is incredible. You have young guys. You have the guy Face and Slimeballs, SAT, who's another older influence. The new backseats is another younger group. And then in the locker room, you have guys like Papa Don to lead the way. You have a great mind in Paul Loria in the locker room heading the office of Win. And there's really not too much that can stop us. Honestly, every small new company brags in the beginning. But I'll tell you and I'll tell everybody else, just watch what we do. Just watch us. You come to a show, eventually you're going to see us on TV. There's nothing that we can't do in this business. Nothing.
I'm super, super excited about Win because Win's just going to blow the roof off everything. This card at Stereo Garden is stacked. I don't think I've seen a better card in my life.
We have, Bull James, Alpha Jr., Homicide, Crowbar, who, on a side note, we had in the HWA 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Brandon Lee, who I was so impressed with. Brendo Lee. I'm so impressed last time I saw him work. Sal Savelli, another up and coming guy. The young talent that Win is using, a mix of Long Island guys, New Jersey guys, Connecticut guys, and you never know where else these guys will come from.
Man, you have the 187 in the corner right there too. Going to be
there, so. Homicide. The amount of years in the locker room. Besides the younger guys, like I said, you have the greatest unsigned talent in Papa Don. Homicide, who's been up and down the country, the world wrestling. Alpha Jr., whose family lineage is insane. And Bull James, who can lead a locker room, as you see with his company Outlaw. The pairing of Outlaw and Win is a no-brainer. And we're gonna rock Stereo Garden. You don't see too many wrestling shows in nightclubs, and we're setting the bar, high.
That show is stacked, and you just want, if you want to talk about the card, you got Alec Price on there, who's going to face Encore Moore, which is going to be another amazing match right there.
Encore Moore, very talented. Alec Price, that match alone is worth the price of admission.
Man, that could main event any show.
No doubt.
But, no doubt that match could be. But the fact that it's not main eventing, we got also the world title match, which I talked to Paul about this. Like, anybody could win this match. Anybody,
PJ Savage, Chris Cage, Dickie Rods. Dickie has been around a long time, but never count him out. He always can pull that last hurrah. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I can't stand the guy, but he's so talented, and that's Joey Conway, who, with along with a couple other guys, just went to Puerto Rico. Right? They went to Puerto Rico for for Win. That's amazing. The kid has so much talent. And he's just scratching the surface. And me and him, we had our feud. We had it out. But never count out the hot commodity. You may see Joey Conway in my stable. Yeah, right there. Right there. That was the last time me and Joey had interaction. But the guy's so talented. Like, as a manager, and I want to be the future manager of champions, he's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? You tell me somebody in that 10-man match that you don't think could win it. Just you look at it. Who would you bet against?
I don't know who. To be honest, I have no. I said in this chat earlier. I said put the belt on all of them. All of them could be the champion. Anybody could walk out with that belt on May 18th. That's my
And
personal opinion.
and that's what's good about this match. You don't know who's going to win. You have no clue. And that's good for the fans. It's good for the locker room. Those 10 guys have a chance to be Wynn's first ever heavyweight champion. And for an up and coming company that is definitely going to make waves in this business, that's an honor that one of them deserves.
I mean, like you have Papadon in there. Papadon's been a champion in every single promotion, everywhere. So he can walk out with that belt and be the first champion. That would not be a bad first champion as well.
No,
it's right there.
He calls himself the Alpha, right? And so the Alpha is the first. So he could be the first. Yeah, no doubt. Jimmy's great. Jimmy's good at almost everything he does. And to see him as a champion would be great.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Sal in the corner over there, someone young, and that could definitely win that title. And he's somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to this match because I'm going to form the greatest stable Long Island wrestling has ever seen. And I started with the Gordons because those boys have so much talent. And I know in my heart of hearts that they will be tag team champions before you know it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to need a singles wrestler. So I'm going to watch and learn the ins and outs of this 10-man match. And I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Like, as a worker, as a locker room leader, I can't wait for this match.
So when you look at the talent acquired by Wynn, teams like the new Backseats, the Audacity, Joey Conway, Slimeballs, PJ Savage, even the homies, what are your thoughts? Better yet, what are your intentions at Wynn?
My intentions is to build the greatest stable and acquire all the gold in Wynn. I won't stop until I have it all. There's a reason why they call me the hot commodity. Wynn brought me in because I am the hottest commodity on the East Coast, let alone all of wrestling. And they knew that. And with my wealth of knowledge that I can pass on to the younger guys, I'm going to take a stable and we're going to run roughshod over Wynn.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait, dude. That's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait. May 18th, if you haven't bought your tickets, the link is in the description. It's like it can't be any easier to buy your tickets right
Thursday night, May 18th, Stereo Garden, Patchogue, Long Island. The ticket price alone to see the hot commodity is worth it. The other guys are bonus. You get the hot commodity for $30. That's it. WIN. Remember the name. Win. Wrestling is now the hottest wrestling promotion on Long Island. Forget that. The hottest wrestling promotion on the whole East Coast, because we won't limit ourselves to Long Island. Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Puerto Rico. Who knows? Maybe all over the world by the end of the year.
Cali is another one, right?
Yeah. We're not limited to Long Island. There's other places in this world to wrestle, and we're going to bring our stars, the stars of Wynn Wrestling, to heights across the country and throughout the world.
So May 18th can't come soon enough, but my question is
go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, how do you feel about wrestling in front of a Long Island crowd again?
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I may not get in the ring per se,
Or
but
performing, performing.
to interact with a Long Island crowd again, there's nothing like it. The Long Island wrestling crowd is the best. You go to the bigger shows, you go to see AEW, you see how loud the crowd could be for them. You see how at a WWE show how loud the crowd could be. Ring of Honor, Impact. Long Island crowds are the best. And I can't wait to interact. You know, Steve Scogan's one of the biggest fans around on Long Island. And I know he's going to be there. And if he has something to say to me, I got something for him too. These fans, there's certain fans that that are regulars everywhere, and you just know that they're going to bring the intensity to the shows.
I mean, I can't wait because you look at AEW, like you said, and it's like every single wrestler pretty much from AEW, even the world champion, is from Long Island.
It's amazing.
Look at that list.
Like you said, you run that list. You run the lineage. I bet you all those ties run back to Mikey. There's no doubt in my mind. HWA and Mikey Whipwreck, the tree of Mikey. You know what I mean? It splintered. You know what I mean? Where did MJF come from? Creator Pro, right? Brian. Where did Brian come from? Mikey. You know what I mean? I told you. They used to have that six degrees of separation or 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You do the 6 degrees of Mikey Whipwreck, and majority of the Long Island stars lead back to him.
Yeah, look at Max Caster is another one.
Max Caster.
There you go, right? So
the Iron Savages. Those are the Creative Pro guys. And then you go to the NYWC guys and Silver and Reynolds and Mike Mondo. Mike Mondo's was great. And Anthony Nese. Long story short, Anthony Nese used to come watch the HWA shows. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Him and Alvin and those guys, they all used to come watch me wrestle 25 years ago. And now I get to watch Nese on TV. I saw Alvin on TV a couple weeks ago.
I was there.
It was fantastic that I had a hand in a lot. Not saying I trained anybody. Don't get me wrong. I had a hand in seeing these guys succeed. And it makes me proud. It makes me proud. And that's why I'm back and win. The knowledge that I gave to guys over the years, if you ask Alvin, one of the first things I ever did with him was go watch him in the backyard. I didn't have to do that, but I love wrestling. I love giving the knowledge that I have to these guys. And for years, they had my brain locked. They wouldn't let me exercise my mind. And now I have the opportunity to exercise my mind in the Win locker room. And these people, they're not ready for it. They're not. Win, look out. The hot commodity, Robert Franklin's here.
So you already acquired the Gordons now.
Yes.
Is that your tag team, or are you looking to acquire any other tag teams under the hot commodity?
So my range for my faction, as you per se, is wide open. The homies have an offer on the table from me. I'm coming there on the 18th to walk them to the ring. That I'm waiting to hear from them. Serrano, I reached out to them. They know what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to let me lead them past the audacity and the slimeballs.
Yeah.
For some unknown reason, Win wouldn't give the Gordons a match this month. Maybe because it's the way what transpired last month and me taking over their management. But rest assured, with me in the building, my group is always around.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you got the Gordons, but who is in that triple threat? Do you think is that biggest threat in that match? Because you got the audacity; they're very dangerous and they work very well together, and you got Tommy and Sade out there.
Listen, while Tommy and Sage are fantastic, they're young. They can still make mistakes. And the audacity, I have their number. There's a reason why I offered my services to the homies, because they are the most dangerous in that match.
They're the most dangerous. Yeah.
Could you imagine on one side of me, the homies, and on the other side of me, the Gordons? Ain't nobody in Win can handle that group. Nobody.
No one.
Not the SAT, not the end, not the new backseats. Nobody.
I mean, it seems like they're building up a real like division in Win with the tag teams, man. I feel like they're even building up so many trios tag teams, because you got the new backseats, you have the SATs. There's just so many tag teams that in Win, and trios as well.
Well, my faction, when I have more than enough people, will be involved with trios as well. You'll never know what you're getting from the hot commodity. You might get a singles match, you might get a double or tag match, and you might get a trios match. Hell, you might even get a 4-on-4 down the line. That's the greatness of the hot commodity. You never know what you're going to get.
Man, I can't wait to see all this in Stereo Garden, man, because that's going to be a moment that people are going to not forget for a long time.
No, they definitely not. They will not forget. Thursday night, May 18th, Stereo Garden. Look forward to seeing you there. Look forward to seeing the fans there. You never know what you're going to get with Win. You know, the SAT say expect the unexpected. Well, damn. Might as well expect the unexpected.
I believe that too. And I believe anytime anyone says that to me, I take it like with a grain of salt, because I do believe in expect the unexpected, because anything could happen in wrestling. Anything could happen in Win. Anything. So that the Stereo Gardens is going to be rocking on May 18th, and I just can't wait.
Anybody that doesn't have tickets yet, go to Win on Facebook, Instagram. You can follow Robert Franklin on my Facebook page.
Tickets.
The QR codes on my page. It's on there. Anybody that works for Win, go to their page. The QR code's on there. Get tickets.
Man, I can't wait. I'm sold. I'm sold on this main event right here to crown the first champion, like I said, because anybody could win that title, man. Win that title. There you go. Anyone could win that win. So
you know what's really good about that as a fan? You're a big fan, obviously. You're getting to see the first ever champion in Win. Not too many shows that you've been to, you could say, I saw the first champion ever. Uh-huh. And we're crowning our first champion, and you're going to be in the building for history.
That's going to be history right there.
Yeah, that's right, because the sky's the limit for Win. The sky is the limit for this company. And when you get to see the first champion crown, it's going to mean something really special.
All right. So,
and just one more thing I want to say, those 10 guys, all he is, the hot commodity, Robert Franklin's watching.
He's watching. So there you go.
Sure.
And the hot commodity, and a new client for Robert Franklin right there, right? The hot commodity.
Yes.
So I cannot wait for that match. That match is going to be absolutely amazing. And it's like, what do you want the fans to know about your intentions for Win? Why they should not miss the fatal elimination match, and most importantly, the triple threat match between the Audacity, the Gordons, and the Slimeballs.
From top to bottom, this card is stacked, and there's no reason, if you're a wrestling fan on Long Island, not to be at the Stereo Garden on May 18th. Between Bull James and Alpha Jr. and you have the lineage of the SAT against the lineage of the backseats with the new backseats with Johnny Cashmere. It's crazy that they've come full circle and are having this match on Long Island. You have the three-way match between the homies, the audacity, and the slime balls. Price admission alone for that match. Why? Because the hot commodity Robert Franklin will be ringside with the homies. Also, Encore Moore is going to be on the show.
That's gonna be
That match can steal the show. Alec Price and Encore Moore. You want to see some really talented young men? You watch them wrestle.
Alec Price is amazing. You know, it's
I-
somebody needs to sign this guy right now. That's how good he is. You know.
Yeah, and then you go to the 10-man main event for the Win Heavyweight Championship. We're going to crown the first champion. It's history, and we're giving it to the Long Island fans. We could have done it in New Jersey. We could have done it in Connecticut, but we wanted to give it to the Long Island community. The Long Island wrestling community gets to see history.
Because it's home right there. That's home right there for a win, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Home right there. That where Win's gonna crown their first ever champion. I'm so excited about that. And for my final question is, what would you say the biggest difference is between Big Daddy Robert Franklin and the hot commodity Robert Franklin?
That's a great question. Big Daddy would have stole your girl. The hot commodity is already with her.
I love that. Love that one, man. You know. So, yeah.
But in all seriousness, the biggest difference is I'm actually able to open my mind and free all my thoughts and ideas that I have for wrestling onto the younger generation, which is what I've always wanted to do. Quick fact: I've never made $1 in this business. Ever. I've never received a paycheck ever in this business. And I did it for 26 years because I loved it. No other reason. And that's a true story, and that's a shoot. Not once did I receive a check, but month after month, I went back because I wanted to see the younger guys succeed.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I had fun doing it. Signed autographs for kids. I got to wrestle at my kids' school in front of all their friends. I got to travel. I've done almost every. I got my own action figure, for Christ's sakes, but never made a dime. And I would do it until I couldn't walk. If I got to see kids, I didn't get to make it to TV. You know what I mean? I did not. I broke my neck 3 days before my first match, and I knew I would never make it. But I had so much fun, and that's what I want to see for these kids. I do. I just want to see the kids succeed. I want to see them I want to be able to say I was there when he did that. You know what I mean? And right now, I there are kids in the business that I can say I did that for. So.
So I talk business aside for a little bit. You're also a gambling man. What's kind of like? What kind of game is your favorite game to play?
I play Texas Hold'em. I have a small little nickname called Final Table Franklin. And currently, in my opinion, I'm the best Hold'em player, tournament-wise, on Long Island right now. I've won a lot of tournaments. I play great. I love Hold'em. Hold'em's the best game. And I play probably 5 nights a week. And it affords me a lot of vacations. Matter of fact, I just drove my daughter back from college. We did 3 games of the Detroit Tigers. We did a USFL game. And we did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Cafe 27 in Cleveland, all on gambling money. It's the best.
Man. Did you? So, what was your favorite part of going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You'd say
just the nostalgia that was in there. But what the best thing was, and you can liken it to wrestling, they have this room where they let the kids play the instruments, and. Wow. They allowed them, and they were playing rock rock and roll, old school rock and roll. And they had actually, and the other cool thing was they had a Guns N' Roses pinball machine that I got to play while I was there.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it was beautiful. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was great. I mean, I wish that the wrestling would make a real like WWE Hall of Fame.
I wish so too.
So you could actually see all the stuff. Like Styx is one of my favorite bands ever, and they had like one of their programs from one of their first concerts hanging on the wall. I have another friend that's a Pearl Jam guy, and who I got to see a few years ago, and they had like their set list from one of their concerts just hanging in. You know, you can have that stuff for wrestling, and they refuse to do it, and I don't know why. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is great.
So who are you? Some of your favorite bands? You'd say?
Uh, so predominantly I'm a rap guy. However, for old school rock and roll, I love Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Pearl Jam's great. I'm a hair band guy, really. I love Poison, Motley Crue, music like that. When I was younger, growing up, my mother used to play records, so I'm a big fan of Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley and stuff like that. To see that stuff in the Hall of Fame was great. And then, never was into the heavy rock, but like Kiss and Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. Ozzy's great. I was never a big Ozzy guy, unfortunately. I know that's Mikey's guy, and if he heard me say that, he'd probably kick me in the head. But I was never like into that type of music because, like I said, once I left, like after I was a hairband guy. I'm what do they call that? Media music. So I was more into media music, and then as I got once I hit 16, I was all rap music for the most part, rap and R&B. So
yeah.
But I guess Styx is my all-time favorite band.
Styx, yeah. Me. I mean, I love new metal. That's just me. I love Korn, Limp Bizkit, those bands. Linkin Park, like that.
Linkin Park is great.
Yeah, those are my favorite bands growing up. But
yeah.
But I always, it's like you gotta stick with the classics. Metallica, Guns N' Roses, those types of bands are always classic.
Of course.
Yeah.
And they were always good for wrestling because how many guys walked out to those kind of songs. It's great.
Pantera's another one, So,
yeah.
So
it's like, it was. They had.
He's seen Kiss 7 times, so
that's crazy. I have not been to a rock concert. This is crazy. I saw Machine Gun Kelly last year. I went with my daughter.
So, I saw Machine Gun. Man, he's crazy live.
Put on a great show. Fantastic.
I actually saw Machine Gun Kelly at the Paramount. He jumped off the stage. Not the stage, but like that balcony.
The balcony, yeah.
He does that. He's crazy like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, man, he's insane, but Machine Gun Kelly.
So in Cleveland, he has the Cafe 27 is his. We went there. My daughter's a big fan. So when we were in Cleveland, we stopped there for breakfast. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Are you a gambler?
No, but my brother is like the biggest gambler ever. So he's a.
It's good that you don't gamble. Sometimes it can be problematic.
It's problematic. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Vegas for my first time ever to play in the World Series of Poker this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but he wants to know what's your favorite wrestler though. Growing up,
my favorite wrestler, hands down, is Don Morocco.
Don Morocco.
I mean, and growing up, my first match ever watched on TV was Don Morocco versus Pedro Morales. Yeah. I used to love the Samoans and Hulk Hogan. Obviously, who doesn't like Hulk growing up? You know what I mean? I started watching wrestling in '81, and that was right as his time was coming. So as a fan, it was great watching him. But yeah, Don Morocco, my all-time favorite wrestler. And the wrestler that gave me the most information that was famous was Bruce Hart.
Yeah.
Rest his soul, Tiger Khan introduced me to Bruce Hart years ago. And Tiger used to work for this guy called Falcon called Paris. So Hager and the guy Abe who wrestled as Sparrow, and they, and we had Bruce in for that company, and Paul worked there, and Kid Ego and Kevin Bates, and the knowledge that he gave me. And at the time, I was just a ring announcer because I had broken my neck, so I was just doing ring announcing, and I learned so much from him. So, and they brought in guys like Tatanka and Marty Jannetty, and I'm sure when you see the documentary, you know how Marty was in the locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Paul wants to know what the origin story of your belly-to-belly suplex is. The infamous belly-to-belly suplex.
Yeah, my first match ever. I hit Paul with a belly-to-belly, and I got a holy shit chant. It was amazing. It was in it was in Gary Reno's uncle's. Gary Reno was the Italian sensation. It was in his uncle's deli catering hall, and there's a couple hundred people in there. When I hit Paul with the belly-to-belly, the place went nuts. And then Paul made me tap out to the Dragon Sleeper. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. My first match, first match I ever lost, I tapped. Yeah. And he ripped out my eyebrow ring. He really wants to get deep on the story.
Oh, jeez, man.
Yeah, he with the Dragon Sleeper, he ripped out my eyebrow ring, and I rolled out of the ring, and I saw that I was bleeding, and I looked in the middle. And they were bouncing around the ring, and the eyebrow ring was bouncing in the middle of the ring.
The SATs want to say what's up to you.
No, SATs, they are so talented, and yet they get no respect. They don't get the respect they deserve. And I can go on and on about them. But you guys will, if you look around, the Spanish fly, which they invented, is used everywhere. You know what I mean? I love the SAT. Those are my guys forever. You know what I mean? Long story short, I opened up a wrestling school at one point, and SAT and Red and Chris Devine and Quiet Storm used to come, and they would whip my ass into shape all the time. My cardio at 27 years old was insane because I had to roll around the ring with those guys. You know what I mean? And I've always been a bigger gentleman. So trying to keep up with SAT and Red and Brian Excel and Chris Devine and Quiet Storm was crazy. And I had no business in the ring with them, but they let me stay around. They let me, not only because it was my building, but they enjoyed working with me. And I had so much fun with them back in the day. And to see how big they got and how much people use their style today is amazing. It's a testament to them that people are copying them,
Yeah. I mean, I have most of the people on the East Coast, everybody knows who the SATs are, but you talk to anyone on the West Coast, they're like, they don't know. But then again, you see all of them use their moves, and I'm like, who'd you learn that from? Oh, I learned that from so-and-so. And then you go back to the origin story.
You need to tell them, well, go ask them where they learned it. And I bet you when they're all said and done, they all learned it from the SAT and Red and Quiet Storm, who was Chris Devine and Quiet Storm back in the day. Those guys, they were amazing young kids, and it was fun to watch them. It really was.
Yeah. And then I asked him, my friend from the West Coast, he knows exactly who the SATs are. I'm like, yeah, you know what's up right there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's like everybody knows the SATs, So
yes.
And then, but Paul said he didn't ask for that part of the story though.
He just wants his shine, but I had to give him the unshine, you know what I mean? Yeah. People gotta know. So listen, I've been wrestling with Paul and them since the beginning. I went from watching them in the crowd, right? And writing about them to learning to wrestle with them to being in Paul's wedding party.
Wow.
Within the course of 2 years, I went from fan to friend to family. It's been great. I would trade it for nothing. I always say I have one regret in life was a job I didn't take. But then I realized that if I did take that job, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I love where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And you know where that is? I'm the hottest commodity in wrestling today.
Definitely, man. The hottest commodity right
there.
Look,
it's on the hat. The hot commodity. Let's go.
Oh man, you got hats now too. There you go.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
So I know. To jump back to this question, how did you get the name Final Table Franklin, and who gave it to you?
Actually, my daughter, and it's because I play poker a lot. And I make the most final tables. So my last name is Franklin. They call me Final Table Franklin now.
That's amazing, that story.
Yeah. I've been playing really well the last 2 years. I changed my game up a little bit, and I've gotten 10 free cruises from poker, and my wife loves me for it.
Yeah, so to jump back, he's like my brother's the biggest poker player. So man, you need to hook up my brother and start playing poker with him, man.
Be great. I run a game every Wednesday and every other Sunday. He's more than welcome. So I guess we'll swap out some information. Maybe you can come by one night.
There you go. Now, I know you explained your goals and when you want to create a stable right now, but where do you see Win in the 5 to 10 years?
On TV.
On TV.
I see Win on TV. Some way, somehow, global TV. Not Access, not IWTV, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Independent wrestling TV is fantastic for what it is. But Win's going to be global. Mark my words. You think Big Daddy's a hot commodity? Win is the hottest commodity in wrestling for real. For real.
That's not a lie at all.
No. Yeah, I took the nickname Hot Commodity because, like I said, I got a few phone calls. But Win is the real hot commodity, my friend. Honestly, you watch and see what we do, because I can't keep saying what they do, because I'm a part of this. You watch what we do. I'm gonna make noise. I lay dormant for a long time, really, really long time. I'm about to make some noise. You see, you're gonna know hot commodity Robert Franklin, because I'm gonna make a lot of noise, and so is Win. Win's gonna make headlines. You watch.
Yeah,
and you watch Channel 12 News, and you look out for articles. You watch. They're gonna report on us because we're gonna take this business by storm.
I believe it, to be honest with you, because you have enough passionate people in this company that's going to take you guys to that next level right there. I strongly believe it. So I believe in Win. So
I appreciate that. I do, and I appreciate you having me on tonight. This has been amazing. You were officially in my first podcast.
Really?
Big Daddy is the warmest, nicest man I've met in the business. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And he said Psycho Circus is legendary.
It was legendary. It was the best circus besides the original. The original, because it was the original. But 19 was the best. You ask around. You ask the guys that have been involved. 19 was unprecedented. Barstool Sports picked up part of 19. So, one was the original. I just missed that last quote. Son of a bitch. With the Lacey Rubber has, that is high praise. Thank you. I'm proud to be on the team, Paul. It means a lot.
I'm proud you are on my podcast. I think that's awesome. I'm so
glad
happy.
You have me. Listen, when I first met you, I liked you. You know that we talked about with each other at wrestling. And I was glad that I'm on. I'm glad we waited, and I'm on now. And I'm glad you're my first one. And that Papa Dank dude, he waited too long. I don't get it.
He missed it. He missed
the opportunity. He had me first.
Mhm.
and I'm glad he slipped up because I'm glad I was on yours first.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time meeting you was at, I believe it was right after the pandemic. The lockdown was over, I believe. It was
Yeah.
during the Summer of Love, like that return show that NYWC had. I think
Yes.
that was the first time I met you, I believe,
Yes, I think so. Yep.
with
Yep.
Paul,
And
yeah,
and
and Tony was there, right?
yeah. Yep. And I'm and hopefully down the line when I grow my stable, you have some of my stable guys on.
I would definitely. That's something definite. So, do you have any social medias or?
I do. I do. I have Robert Franklin, obviously, on Facebook. And for now, it's Big Daddy Roma on Instagram with 3 Ds. It's Big Daddy Roma. And that's because I run a pizzeria in Coram, Bella Roma. So I just put the Rome, Big Daddy Roma. But I have a feeling it might be hot commodity soon. We'll see.
Yeah, what's going on? So,
Hey,
I mean,
hey, Serena.
what's up, Serena? How's it going? So, anyway, do you have any upcoming shows besides the Win, or that's really it?
I am solely promoting Win.
Oh,
Um, when my guys have other shows, like the Gordons, I will help promote that. But my main focus right now is Long Island and Win.
all right,
Like we have a lot of stuff in store for Long Island, so that's my main focus. I don't think I'm going to be working other companies. I
all
think
right.
I'm gonna, if I
So,
can get my guys work elsewhere, because to me, the more exposure you get, the better it is.
mhm,
So if I can get the Gordons work for another local company, then I'll be sure to show my face. But right now, my main focus is Win and promoting the product here.
mhm. I
But
appreciate.
I appreciate you asking. That's great. Not too many
Yeah,
people would ask that.
yeah, yeah.
So
But she wants to know Bella Roma, the one by Stop and Shop.
that's the one and only. I've been there 28 years.
So there you go, Serena. So, all right. Thank you so much, Robert, for coming on the podcast, man. I
Oh,
really appreciate
listen, this was my
it.
pleasure, and I
Dude.
want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for having me.
Mhm.
Even though it was all your pleasure,
Yeah.
remember the hot commodity, Robert Franklin, the hottest thing on Long Island right now in the wrestling business.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, Thursday night, May 18th, Stereo Garden, Patchogue. I'll see you there.
Make sure you buy your tickets.
Yes.